Iraq News highlights and points to ponder Saturday AM October 26, 24. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Al-Sudani directs to conclude contracts in euros. Money and Business Economy News. Baghdad Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani directed ministries and governorates to accept offers and bids and conclude contracts in euros, equal to the dollar. The Secretary-General of the Council of Ministers, Hamid al-Ghazi, said in a letter issued to state institutions that al-Sudani directed the acceptance of offers and bids and the conclusion of contracts in the European currency, euro, equal to the US dollar. In accordance with the decisions of the Council of Ministers and the instructions issued by the Central Bank of Iraq regarding the US dollar, the Central Bank of Iraq decides to reduce interest to 5.5% in order to support economic growth. The Central Bank of Iraq decided to reduce the interest rate from 7.5% to 5.5%, after the inflation rate decreased in Iraq. According to the Ministry of Planning, the inflation rate has fallen from 8% to less than 3%. Deputy Governor of the Central Bank, Amar Hamid, said, based on the monetary policy orientations to enhance access to targeted inflation rates in a manner that does not conflict with the expected economic growth rates, and is consistent with the policy of developing deposits and increasing credit rates aimed at targeting projects. The Board of Directors of the Central Bank decided to reduce the monetary policy rate to 5.5% instead of 7.5%. He added that the securities, namely Islamic deposit certificates and traditional transfers, were reactivated according to an annual plan with 2 terms, 14 days with a return of 4% and 182 days with a return of 5.5%. He stressed that the maximum investment limit does not exceed 50% of the total private sector deposits of the bank. The central bank stressed that the bank's investment ceiling in a single auction does not exceed 500 billion dinars. Al-Maliki. The position of the Speaker of Parliament is subject to the political agreement. Information, Baghdad. Today, Saturday, the representative of the State of Law Bloc, Durgham al-Maliki, confirmed that the position of the Speaker of Parliament is subject to the political agreement. Al-Maliki told Al-Maluma Agency, "What is required is a political agreement to elect a new Speaker for Parliament as soon as possible," indicating that the House of Representatives is ready to hold a session to elect a new Speaker if the Sunni partners agree to choose one person. He added, the success of the Parliament session dedicated to electing a new Parliament Speaker depends on reaching an agreement and consensus among all political blocs. Al-Maliki called on the national forces and parties to the political process to continue dialogues and understandings and agree on one candidate to fill the position of Parliament Speaker. MP. Sunni houses conflict over Parliament presidency still ongoing. Posted on the 26th of October 2024 by Sotalarak October 25, 2024, the representative of the Coordination Framework, Thayer al-Jubari, confirmed on Wednesday the continuation of the Sunni houses conflict over the position of Speaker of the House of Representatives, ruling out that the Sunnis would leave the conflict and give the representatives the opportunity to choose whom they see as suitable for the position. Al-Jubari said, the Sunni component has been in conflict over the presidency of the House of Representatives for the past months, and has not agreed throughout the past period on a single person to fill this long vacant position. He added, the Sunni House is unlikely to leave the choice to the members of parliament to choose the person they find suitable from among the candidates for the presidential position. Size. He explained that, there are candidates for the presidency of the House of Representatives, and no other figures can be nominated. And therefore it is possible to resolve matters by the candidates agreeing on a specific formula through which one of them withdraws so that the other can be voted on. MP. Nominating one candidate for parliament presidency is a fantasy. The 26th of October 2024, 606 views Sumerian News. Special considered a member of the Council Representatives Olive al-Dulaimi, today. Saturday, deal political blocs agree on one candidate for the position of Speaker of the Council Representatives. It's a fantasy, she said, stressing that the dialogues are still ongoing to come up with more than one candidate. Al-Dulaimi said in an interview with Sumerian News, the issue of the position of President Parliament, it has become a knot that is not easy to solve. And the reason for that is that the wills of the Sunni and Shiite political forces have become intertwined, and it has become very difficult to agree on a person to be a single representative of these multiple, different and contradictory forces, noting that, talking about a single candidate for the presidency parliament, it's a fantasy. Al-Dulaimi added, the current days are witnessing dialogues and meetings that we hope will lead to the emergence of even 2 or 3 candidates, so that voting on them will be according to the conviction of the members of the Council, representatives and choosing the most worthy to lead the House of Representatives. The president stressed alliance determination dual samurai, Thursday, October 24, 2024. His alliance calls for not participating in any parliamentary session that does not include the election of a president, parliament for his part. The head of the Sadara bloc, Khalid al-Obidi, considered yesterday, Friday, October 26, 2024. The Sunni consensus on one candidate for the position of President Parliament a message of strength and cohesion. What is the total spending and price of a barrel of oil in the 2025 budget? Money and Business Economy News, Baghdad. The Prime Minister's advisor for financial affairs, Mazhar Mohammad Saleh, specified the expected total spending, the hypothetical deficit, and the price of a barrel in the 2025 budget. Saleh said, next year's budget 2025 will not deviate from the constants approved in the Federal General Budget Law, the 3-year budget, submitted by the government and approved by the House of Representatives for the years 2023, 2024, 2025, especially in the principles and objectives consistent with the government program. He added, despite this, the 2025 budget must be hedged with a hypothetical deficit of 64 trillion dinars, which is a precautionary deficit that has been established by law to avoid fluctuations in the general budget revenues for the coming year, especially oil revenues that are subject to fluctuations in the oil asset cycle and the conditions of energy markets in the world. As long as the total spending ceiling will touch perhaps 200 trillion dinars, depending on the financial and economic circumstances of the country. He explained, the price of a barrel of oil in the 3-year budget, to which the 2025 budget is subject, was set at $70 and an export capacity of 3.4 million barrels per day for the purposes of determining oil revenues in the general budget. Oil, gas investment project implementation with Total is progressing within the specified timeframe. Posted on 26 October 2024 by Sotalarac, the Ministry of Oil confirmed that the gas investment project with the French company Total is proceeding within the specified timeframe. A statement from the ministry said, the Under-Secretary of the Ministry for Extraction Affairs, Bassem Mohamed Kader, chaired the 7th meeting of the Joint Management Committee for the project. In the presence of the Under-Secretary of the Ministry for Gas Affairs, Izzat Saber, the Director General of Basra Oil Company, Bassem Abdul Karim, and the Director General of the South Gas Company, Hamza Abdul Baki. The Under-Secretary said during the meeting, according to the statement, the progress of the gas investment project implemented by the French company Total in Basra is proceeding within the specified timeframes, as confirmed in the government program and the directives of the Deputy Prime Minister for Energy Affairs and Minister of Oil, Hayan Abdul Ghani. The Under-Secretary stressed, after chairing the meeting, that the project is one of the important and strategic projects that have great hopes, as it includes important projects, including the development of the Artawi field and gas investment in 5 oil fields in 2 phases with a capacity of 600 cubic meters, each phase 300 cubic meters. In addition to the seawater project to inject water into the fields to compensate for the depleted pressures, as well as the solar electricity project with a capacity of 1,000 megawatts in 4 phases, each phase 250 megawatts. He added, the meeting discussed several topics, the most important of which was how to start the accelerated gas investment project, which is an additional paragraph for the project that was not included in the obligations, but was added after the directives of the leadership of the oil sector and the government on the necessity of closing the gas flaring file and optimal investment of associated gas, and the project was referred with a capacity of 50 mcm. The statement continued, during the meeting, the mechanisms for starting drilling operations were discussed, as tenders were referred in this regard, and they will begin after December of this year, noting that, the seismic survey project was assigned to a Chinese company in cooperation with the oil exploration company. He pointed out that, regarding the seawater project, there are negotiations with one of the companies in agreement with Total, and we hope to reach understandings in this regard. The statement explained that, the meeting stressed the importance of the participation of Iraqi workers, graduates and other workers in the project, through contracting with them directly from Total, without the need for other parties. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Source: Dinar Recaps.